There's 30 points up for grab for the rest of it. There's 10 games left. There's 30 points. I mean, you we don't have, all we got left is a Carabao Cup. There's no European football, so now they'll get a rest. There's a break between games, and there's 30 points up for grab. All we can do now is push for the top four. That's
all we have left. No,
that's all we have left.
We have nothing else. So that means we have to go, but that means somebody needs to go down there, reach down into their drawers and grab the jewels that their mama gave them and pull something out from deep inside to go out there on Sunday and win, right?
I think it was rather telling what Hugo Lloris's press conference was. I mean, you can get what Mourinho was saying, but I thought it was very telling what Lloris was saying. I think coming from the captain, and he's saying that it was a disgraceful performance, and pretty much saying that it was indicative of what's going on in the club. I think that it was rather telling, and I mean, those guys. If you're not going to play for the shirt, just let us know. I mean, if you're not going to play for the shirt, just go. I mean, it's embarrassing. This was embarrassing. Dinamo Zagreb, really? 2-0 up? 2-0 up off the first tie, and then you let a player score a hat trick. I mean, those goals were just unbelievable. Just unbelievable. There was no passion, and it goes back to Sunday's game against Arsenal.
And what I didn't even see today, and it was the same thing that I saw at Arsenal, and maybe it is a Højbjerg issue. I don't know, but nobody wanted to put pressure onto the ball in our own defensive third, much less up the pitch in the press. Not right. I'm talking in our defensive third. Nobody wanted to step up. Nobody wanted to put pressure. Nobody wanted to put a shoulder on a guy and get it and prevent them or cause them to make a mistake.
Dinamo Zagreb's second and was it the first and the third goal? Where were the defenders at? Where were they? I was like, somebody just foul him, something, do something. Don't let him run through the team and just, curls one in the top corner. But that third goal was inexcusable. It was disgusting. Ran by like 4 players and just put his laces through it. It was just disgusting. I mean,
I mean, David is right though. I mean, he says right here, he says that all the players that have been, causing all the issues out of the back are the same people that caused us issues out of the back in the 1920 season and the 18-19 season, right? Yeah, I think from November to November in Pacha's last year, that if that would have been our full season, we would have been relegated.
Yeah. Been awful, man.
We would have been relegated, right? If you take the results, points from November of 18-19 to the November of 19-20, we would have been relegated.
We pose no threat, especially on Davis's side. We don't pose a threat to nobody. We don't. Yeah, Ben Davis should have been sold 3 seasons ago. You're right. I mean, we pose no threat down the left side. We don't pose a threat down the right side. We have no creativity and let's be honest, if Ndombele isn't, charging at a defender, spinning somebody off the ball, what is our pattern of play? Be honest. When you watch that, what are we trying to accomplish? Like when you watch Man City, for example, that they're like, okay, they're gonna have basically their wing backs basically feet on the touchline. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna spread you out. They're just gonna spread you, sideline to sideline and work the middle and then get it down the sides, cross it in. That's why they always get a majority of those plays are tap-ins. You know what I'm saying? Liverpool's, play, they press, recover the ball fast, push forward, use Firmino to get it to Salah and Mane, and if not, they get it over the top. Okay. You got even Arsenal. Arsenal was picking us apart down that left side the entire game, and it was simple. It was just okay. Well, Gareth's not going to track back, so let's just pick on Doherty, and we're going to overlap with Tierney. You know what I'm saying? And and Smith Rowe and kill him. You see the pattern of play. What is our pattern of play? What are we when we have the ball? What are we trying to accomplish? Because a lot of the times I see the ball stop, right? And then they're kind of looking around like, okay, what is the pattern of play? You know what I'm saying? I don't see anybody on the wings. I don't see anybody, if somebody makes a run, it's kind of like, oh, are they making a run, but the ball's not coming? What's the pattern of play? And the only thing I see is anything happens is only when Kane drops back, comes into the midfield. That's the only time anything happens is when Kane comes into the midfield. That just seems to be the only thing. It's like, well, Kane. It's like we're playing. Basketball. Let's talk about. It's like basketball, and you say, okay, he's the best player. So what do we do, coach? Okay, when you cross the half to the best, give it to the best player, and everybody just kind of whatever, that's what it seems like. Like we'll give him the ball.
It's pretty sad. The worst part about it is that how do you have? I just don't understand how people say we're necessarily setting up to be a defensive team, even this season, right? If you look in Poch's last 2 seasons, we averaged around 62 to 67 goals a season.
Mm-hmm.
We're at 47 right now with 10 games left to play. I'm talking about just inside the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
We're averaging right now 1.5 goals a game, which it puts us exactly on par with 18, 19, and 17, 18 as far as the amount of attacking returns the team's getting. And I just don't see how I don't get how people can scream out there at Jose Mourinho. What coach, like the first half, right? Yeah, understand. They sit back, right? You don't need to go out there. Don't make mistakes. I'm sure that was Jose's pre-game speech was don't make mistakes, don't make mistakes, don't make mistakes. And when you get into a player's head of where he's thinking about not making a mistake, he tends to be less aggressive. Right. If he's not confident in himself, if he's thinking about don't mess up, you tend to be more reserved. Right. I see that in my own kid when he goes to plays. Right. If he's playing against a team that he knows, or if it's a big game, like if it's the final of a tournament, he'll set himself back because he doesn't want to be the guy who gives away the goal that costs them the game. Right. That's the kind of mentality. But that's a 13-year-old's mentality. That's not elite player's mentality. But the difference is that I don't see them. I just don't understand why they're not putting pressure on the ball. That is like 101, right? 101 defending in your defensive third. I don't care if you're a defender, a midfielder, right? Unless you're the last man, or if you're the last man, then you jockey. You got to give him some space because you don't want to give him. You don't want to let him in behind you. But if you have people behind you, why are you not? If you're Ndombele, if you're Sissoko, if you're Harry Winks, if you watch Harry Winks when he defends, he just runs along the side of players. And I don't get it.
Does Kane look gassed to you?
Yeah, he does. I think he looks I don't think he's 100% fit. I don't think he was fit against Arsenal.
I don't think so either.
And I think that one of the key things is that if you want to give Arsenal credit for anything, it was that they were the first one to lose balls, and they were the first one to second balls, first one to first balls. They were closing people down, right? As soon as one of our players touched the ball and in their defensive third, there was 1 or 2 guys putting pressure on them, and we don't do that. We walk alongside of them. We let them.
Kane looked gassed. Son's injury, I do believe, happened because of fatigue. It's obvious that Jose doesn't trust his squad players. Even Vinicius, which for the life of me, I can't understand, because the kid's performed when he's played. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, he's pretty much performed when he's played. I think that there's so much. I did this. I don't know. I like every Tottenham podcast that I've watched. I think as fans, we've all sat there and we've all looked at it and we've all shook our heads like we don't know. We don't know. Nobody can tell us what our team is. What do we do? Are we a defensive team? Are we an offensive team? What do we do? And nobody, and there's no real. And I think the consensus is like, okay, well, I guess if we play this defensive ball, as long as we win, I guess that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess it's a means to an end, but we're not winning. And
I think it's Jose though, and that's the thing is that, like, I don't think, and I didn't get to the end of my thought earlier. I kind of lost my train of thought, but I don't think that what coach out there when you're 2-0 down is going to say, "Okay, guys, let's set up shop and park the bus." No one. You have to be absolutely mad. You'd have to be a literal lunatic who needs to be committed, right? Like there's no one who's going to do that. And so for people to come out and blame Jose, even at 1-0, right? Once they split that first goal, we got to get one. Got to get one. We got to get one. We got to get one. And yeah, I mean,
we all saw the first goal coming though. It was coming. It was coming. I watched this game and I was like, this goal is coming.
Jesus, no one was closing down.
Yeah, this goal was coming. And then it's like the Arsenal game. You knew the goal was coming.
Yeah.
Lamela had the tremendous Rabona, but you knew the goal was coming from Arsenal. You knew it. You just was like, it's a matter of time. It just this disgusting mindset of, okay, we get a goal ahead, and you're just like, all right. You could literally go down the list. The Palace game, you knew the goal was coming. You knew the equalizer was coming. You saw it. You're like, oh my God, they're gonna fucking score. The Wolves game, it's coming. Okay, we got lucky against Fulham twice. Okay, should have lost both times against Fulham. Okay, you just see you see it coming. You're like, nah, we hanging on for dear life. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, because Jose threw the kitchen sink at this game today, right? I mean, he put on every sub he possibly could, right? I mean,
it's getting us, and we almost
all over,
and we didn't deserve it. But just like the game against Arsenal, we almost pulled the result out our freaking ass. We didn't fucking deserve anything out of that Arsenal game, and we did, and we almost pulled it out our ass. They hit the post, you know what I'm saying, and they almost pulled this freaking tie out of their ass, you know. Kane had a freaking sitter and he kicks it straight down the middle of the freaking goal. The whole right side's open. You know what I'm saying? So
no, I'm hearing you, man. And the fan base frustrates me a lot too. It really does. It really frustrates me a lot of the time because there's so many people out there who just, and I guess this is I guess maybe it's just 2021, but there's a lot of people that throw out baseless claims all the time that they like the tactics today. It's all because of the what tactic? Which one? Right? Nate, to explain the tactic that you feel was the bad tactic that lost us the game. Right? People just throw out blanket statements, hoping that one will stick, and they just want to rage on about senseless stuff. Well, that's not me. Like for me, I'm famous for not liking Lamela. I have reasons I don't like Lamela. It's not because he's, just Lamela.
He holds the ball too long. He holds the ball too long. He doesn't score enough. You know what I'm saying? For him, when you think about how long he's been at the club, you're like, really? Shocking, right? And you're like, what has he done? And you're like, and he'll literally go down for 2 Ramonas. He'll be in Spurs folklore for having 2 Ramonas and getting stuff in the North London derby. That's it. You know what I'm saying? What is he? And you're shocked that he's still there. And you're like, well, what was Lamela done? He's been injured the entire time. You know what I'm saying? He's always injured, and he's had 2 Ramonas. That's it.
But he works. He's still there. He's a hard worker.
He's a hard worker that holds onto the ball too long. Okay, when the obvious pass is there and doesn't have a right foot.
So he's had in his whole career, he's had 40-something goals. 3 with his right foot. 3. My son's right footed. He's 13 years old. Plays at a competitive level. It's relative, right? and he scored 3 goals with his left foot already, and there's still half the season left, right? So how can someone who's supposed to be a professional player have such a poor, weak foot that he's forced to do Rabona to score from the left side of the pitch?
Yeah, because shocking as it sounds, he's better at shooting the Rabona than he is with his right foot. Shocking.
Yeah, no, because you couldn't. And like even the Harry Kane assist off the post, he took that with the outside of his left foot out of stride, right? His left foot was already extended and he had to flick the ball up off the side of his foot because he has no right foot. Whereas any other player playing at this level would have shot with his right foot and scored that goal and picks it up. Yeah. And then you got the Rabona, right? And the play right before the Rabona, he gave the ball away with his left foot when he was out of position again. And it ended up getting lucky that Reguilon ended up kind of taking it back and passing it right back to him. So
this team is, like I said, I mean, all the hope was there at the beginning of the season. It was there. It was all there at the beginning of the season. I don't know what's happened since from the time we were at the top when we lost to Liverpool. The wheels have completely fallen off the wagon, just completely fallen off, and we've been on a bad run. We can't beat anybody this in the top 10. We can't, just simply cannot.
That makes me worried for Sunday then.
Yeah, it makes me worried about Villa. You know, we have Villa, who by the way, of course, Jack Grealish is back. Okay, they have a dangerous team. They're very good side. You know,
look real good.
You would look at the last 10 games, and under normal circumstances, you could say, okay, these look winnable. But you're nervous, and that now we're banking on a Chelsea team that doesn't give up goals to fall out of form. They may not be playing, they may not be scoring, but they're not giving up any goals because that's who we're chasing is Chelsea. Okay, let's not talk about West Ham, who's playing out of their skin. You know what I'm saying? And now it just seems like Leicester had a blip. You know, a blip. Didn't they just score 5 last against Sheffield United? They put 5 past Sheffield United. So now you're asking Leicester or Chelsea, West Ham, Everton. This is all who we're gonna chase down with a game in hand. You know what I'm saying? So you're asking all these teams to fall out a favor. I feel like the season's done. Okay. And the only hope, and to be honest with you, the only hope at European football next year, crazy as it may sound, because I do not see us finishing in the top 6, is to win the Carabao Cup, because the Carabao Cup gets you into the Europa League. That's it. Which is impossible. And watch the crazy shit. And watch the crazy shit. Josie will fuck around and win that game against Manchester City.
Oh, I know. I hope he does. I mean, at least that'll make me feel like this season wasn't a complete waste. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous and that's why you can't. If it was the manager, you would see a continual downward trend until the players just came out publicly and said we're done. Right? I mean, that is how Jose's career always ends. Is he's got 1 or 2 players that'll come out in public and say, you know, get in a public fight with him over something, or I mean, that's what happened with him and Pogba at United, right? That doesn't happen. It's been a roller coaster, and I think what it is you have the people at the club who respect Jose Mourinho, Kane, Son, maybe Lloris, Reguilon, Højbjerg, fighting a battle against the people who, under that Championship League season, because there were so many injuries, and we got rid of people like Dembele, when Yama was hurt, all of these other things, and got more playing time than they normally did, and start to felt like they were due playing time. It was owed to them. And so you have the players who have always been good kind of battling with the players who are really, second tier players in the team. If you look back from 18, 19 and back, who are, pitching a fit. And right now we're having to rely on them, especially during that play when we lost 5. Like, I don't think people give Reguilon enough credit. Like that run where we lost 5 out of 6, I don't think we would have lost half of those games if we would have had Reguilon on the side.
Reguilon is an amazing left back. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And my fear is that Real Madrid are going to come through and be like, yeah, you know what? We're going to go ahead and exercise that buyback clause. You know what I'm saying? He's a tremendous talent. You can see it. He's a tremendous talent. We're a completely different team when he's in the game. You know, when Mourinho subbed him in, I was like, okay, he had to bring Reguilon in, and we looked a threat. We looked a threat. So
yeah, the pace changed. I think that was just big. If Jose is at fault for today, David, if you're still there, if Jose was at fault today for anything,
should have started
Davies instead of Reguilon.
Yeah, because at least he gives us that threat. He gives us a threat, a proper threat. You know, it just we didn't. We and I think against lesser teams like Dinamo Zagreb, I think on the wings like your wing backs or somebody bumming that you need pace. You need pace, and I think Reguilon would have made the difference. I think if he had started, this was just. I don't know, man. It was one of those like Jose talked all week about. Don't take this game lightly. Don't take this game lightly. But then I feel like you looked like you played a strong side. But then if we're being honest and we look at the entire season, we know that, like, come on, like, Ben Davis, it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we got Aurier, but then it's like you're chopping and changing. Like Arsenal game, he put Doherty in he put Doherty in and had Reguilon in. And then this game, he gives us Aurier, but then he gives, he has Davis on the left. It just, and the truth of the matter is that Winston Sissoko thing just doesn't work anymore. It's done. It's dead. It's dead food. It's done. Nobody, they scare nobody. My son going crazy right now.
Having fun. That's what it means. Tell us about yourself, man. I haven't seen you on many streams before. So first sports club, what part of the country are you from?
Okay, so I'm actually currently in Florida, South Florida.
Okay.
Big Spurs fan. I'm a retired Navy chief. So I retired 6 years ago from the Navy after 23 years of service. Big football fan. Down here in South Florida. Love Spurs all my life. Family's a whole Spurs fan. So I haven't talked to anybody in England this evening because I know that they were all distraught and disgusted. So I've kind of, and unfortunately after the game, I had to go to class right after class. So everybody was just kind of like, hey, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't want to talk. I'm sitting in class just kind of like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk.
I was in Naples not too long ago. My son had a tournament down there.
Yeah. So, and hopefully one of my boys, especially this little 7-month-old that's over here making all the noise, he wants to kick a ball. So I'm glad. I'm absolutely thrilled that you have this. You got this platform. I mean, I see a lot of the guys, because I noticed that a lot of the guys that call into Tottenham TV, or we are Tottenham TV, are from the States.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
All from the States.
I was actually telling David that when we were kind of talking about, he kind of pushed me over the edge. I was kind of thinking about doing the channel. I go on a bunch of their streams, do that stuff, but I really enjoy doing that too. But the problem is that a lot of them I can't do from, like, I have all of this for my work.
Mm-hmm.
I just change a couple pieces and it changes, the theme of whatever I'm doing. But I can never really do anything from here because of the time of the day that it is, right? And so I figured, there's nothing. And then when I get home after you go to kids training, and when I get back from training, it's like I live in the Eastern, North Carolina, so same time zone as you. It's like 8:00 in the evening. There's nothing on, right? There's nothing to participate in. So I said, you know what? I do that. So I kind of shot at Dave, and he's like, man, just give it a shot. Just go for it. Right. Throw it out there. See what people do. So Yeah, man. And I appreciate you coming on for our very first stream. I wish it was under better circumstances other than a 3-0 loss to
Dinamo Zagreb.
Dinamo. All right. They can't even spell dynamo right. I mean, come on.
I'd love to be back, man. But definitely I'm following you, and I'll be in touch, man. Keep it up, man. I appreciate you. Maybe we can talk under some better circumstances. Hopefully, at the end of the season, we have some good news, or it's literally going to be, well, what are they going to do? Because
I'm curious to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a ride. But thanks for having me. You guys.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Anytime. You're always welcome.
Spurs for life, yo.
Yep.
Come on.